Yeah, exactly. Idle hands too.
But they do, I mean, they do digitally do that to some people sometimes if they do see this too much, in case anybody out there was wondering.
Yeah.
That does happen a lot.
Actors are sneaky.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to edit it and you're like, well, this person was just here, now this person's just here, now this person's just here. And of course, this is supposed to be caught by the ADs, but sometimes you don't catch everything.
Yeah.
You do have to, worst case scenario, you do have to digitally take them out. And it's like,
Yeah.
like that is just, it's the worst thing to do because then you're like, it costs so much money.
Frame by frame.
It's an insane amount of money and time. And it's just stupid.
I will say, if you watch The Odd Life of Timothy Green, I'm in the factory scenes a lot. Just giving you a heads up. But they kept putting me in it. Now, I didn't jump up front. Because I was actually polite and I listened and I didn't try to steal food.
Oh, jeez.
This was like my first ever extra job in 2011, beginning of 2011. And I was just polite. And they're like, all right, Mark, we'll keep you. They had like 200. They cut it down to 100, cut it down to 50, cut it down to 20, cut it down to 10, cut it down to 5. And I kept staying around. And
I thought you were talking about your pay.
No, yeah. Here, Mark, here's some nuts. Here's some planters. So, but yeah, they kept me around. So I'm in a lot of that factory scenes. You'll see me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm in and the American Reunion, the party scene at Stifler's house, I think. You'll see me trucking around the background a lot.
Wow.
I poured wine in the ADR dialogue in my mouth, the jerks.
Oh,
Tell me when. All right, cool.
So whenever they were editing this movie, the director actually was so frustrated that to make himself like calm down, he actually wrote a poem to this girl.
Let's hear it.
And he reads this in the commentary, but here's what he says. He says, "An extra once put a director to the test to cut her out of the film like the rest. Though extras worked tough, she worked hard enough to appear in all the shots, east and west."
I'm going to start this movie again. This is the party scene. All right, so I'm going to fast forward and watch this scene again.
Oh, and also, I mean, I could talk more about this, but another one of the influences, especially with the hand specifically, he used the demons in Jacob's Ladder.
What?
As a reference. Because if you watch it and you watch the demons in Jacob's Ladder, they move very much the same, which is kind of like really fast, but then they may have, I think in Jacob's Ladder they moved at a normal speed, but then he sped it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did.
Hey.
I was like, oh wow, that's really interesting.
I was a little worried about this hand's power. 'Cause it can fly sometimes.
You can clearly throw a cat.
Yeah, and it can fly. It flew from a microwave 20 feet, busted through a window, but then you see it crawling.
And it's strong enough to
rip a scalp off.
So wouldn't it be able to almost like bust through a wall?
Yeah. Could punch through somebody.
Could go full Ivan Drago.
Oh. The powers do change for this hand, right?
Yeah, I think maybe like sometimes it wants to show off, but then it's like wants to be like, okay, guys, check this one out.
Yeah. Hey.
Coming at you.
Hey.
Can you imagine playing rock, paper, scissors with that thing? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You'd have to let it win.
I would. I just do paper every time.
What about arm wrestling? Okay.
No, I have thumb wrestling.
Brundle from The Fly versus the hand from Idle Hands.
Oh, brother. But his fingernails would be coming off.
Okay, Ooh. Okay, so
that'd be juicy.
Prior to the fingernails coming off whenever he's in the bar scene.
Yeah.
So who do you think would win? Those are both tough hands.
They'd have to thumb wrestle.
Okay. So that's going to be like a...
Ooh, oh, man. All right, I'm going with Idle Hands hand.
I don't know. I'm going to say The Fly.
Because it's shifty. It don't cheat. Fly don't cheat. Brundle thumb don't cheat.
Yeah, but I mean, Brundle Fly, he can already do as much as what the Idle hand could do.
I just think in a thumb wrestling match, because he would be moving around, the thumb could match it.
Ooh.
Right? So the Brundle Fly kind of moves up to get an advantage. The thumb's fine. It could go any direction.
You think he could break the hand?
I think
he did a pretty good job on the human.
No, because the thing would have sharp, pointy fingernails, the hand, and they'd be squeezing together. So if the Fly tried to do anything, Brundle tried to do anything differently, it would be getting cut with the fingernails.
Ooh. Okay.
So when it squeezed too tight, he'd be like, ugh!
Okay, so how about Brundle Fly and Lincoln Hawk?
And arm wrestling?
Well, okay. Never mind. That played out a lot funnier in my head.
Was Devin Sawa? Lincoln Hawk is from Over the Top.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is
the
it
best
still
movie about child custody and arm wrestling?
Is it on Devin Sawa still, or just the hand?
No, I'm going to say the hand. Like, do you think which one would win in a match?
But the hand's just a hand.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's a hand doing the arm wrestling.
But there's no arm for a hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could still float in the air, as we both discussed.
And it can generate pressure like that?
Do you think?
I'm going Sly Stallone. Because I think it's just a hand. That's why I was thumb wrestling. This is big, man. You and I are going to end our friendship on this. On this hypothetical.
We have to get the H out of here.
Years from now, you're going to be like, why'd you and Mark fight? Man, he was saying that the hand from Idle Hands can't arm wrestle.
I'd be like an old man, like, I'll tell you what, that piece of crap told me. He said that Lincoln Hawk couldn't beat the hand from Idle Hands. I'm like, Grandpa, who's Lincoln Hawk?
That really infuriated you that much? You're right.
It was simpler times, kid. 2019. We didn't have a whole heck of a lot to complain about.
Hand me the hologram.
So, why do you keep playing the one of Tupac?
Yeah.
That tripped my mind out when I saw that. The hologram.
That company went bankrupt.
Wow, that was crazy.
All right, so what else you got for me? Or do you want to move on to your recommendations? Oh, no, we got to talk about...
best severed...
The best severed hands of cinema.
Yeah. we did best severed hand. I did best severed
arms.
Limbs.
Anything.
Okay.
Limbs, arms, hands, any of that stuff.
My first one was very obvious, which was Hellraiser.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Like, I mean, come on. He gets ripped in half, ripped apart. The Jesus wept scene. I mean, they literally go ham in that movie. Oh, my.
They rip everything apart.
Everything is done in that one, man.
Claws, those things protrude to people and rip them.
Oh, my God.
You know what my number one is? Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, God. I love that movie.
Crispin Glover. So they go back in time. So when they meet him, he has one arm. When they go back in time in the Hot Tub Time Machine, they keep waiting for him to lose an arm, and that's amazing.
I love that.
He's flipping chainsaws. He's holding all four of them. He's like, I got a strong grip, and like, it's happening now. He's like, the elevator
scene, and then I love that, like you said at the end, whenever he has to hold on to him as the guy's following, he's like, oh damn it, it's gonna happen now. This is how it happens. Why didn't I remember this?
There's a subplot about a guy losing an arm.
Yeah, Crispin Glover, which I love that. That was perfectly casted.
Beautiful. And then for me, Deep Blue Sea, when Stellan's skateboard loses his arm to the shark. Because the shark is straight up just waiting. The shark is just chilling. And then he starts smoking a cigarette and he gets his arm bit off. And Samuel Jackson said, oh, lit a cigarette, his arm's going off. And he got his arm bit off. What else you got?
4 Rooms.
4 Rooms? What happens in that?
The segment from The Man from Hollywood.
I don't remember.
The whole thing was Quentin Tarantino's directed scene where they do I think it's from... they're reenacting a scene from, I think, Twilight Zone. I have to rewatch it. It's been a while. But anyways, basically he has to flick a cigarette lighter 10 times in a row, and if they mess up one time, cuts off his finger.
Ooh.
So he tells him this whole story, and it's Tim Roth that's supposed to cut the finger off. And the whole thing is big tension built up. They have the finger. He's like, 1, 2, 3. He messes up on the first one. Wham! Goes the finger. And he just walks out like nothing happened.
That's like 95, 96?
94, 5-ish.
Maybe did it come out same year, Pulp?
It came out around the same time because it was Robert Rodriguez's.
Yeah.
It wasn't Tarantino's, but Tarantino did direct the one segment.
I do love the scene in World War Z where they're in Israel and that woman Segan gets bit on her hand and Brad Pitt just cuts her arm right off immediately so it doesn't spread into her body. That was a gangster. I watched World War Z again recently and I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen that since it came out. I might have to. I've read most of the book. No, I did. No, I'm getting that confused with Scout's Guide. I read most of that book. I did read World War Z. World War Z is a good book.
Good book.
It's way different than the movie.
I like the movie that just goes. The movie never stops.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
Then that's how the book is too. It's just like different parts vignettes. Of the world. It's just like throughout the whole book. I'd say I do have 2 more really good movies with severed limbs.
Yeah,
got to mention Planet Terror.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
her leg.
Yeah. The machine gun
that was awesome.
From Cherry... What's her name? Cherry Bomb? Cherry Bomb?
Cherry Blossom?
Cherry Blossom? God, that's so god. That's so dope. Oh my... I love that. And even the sex scene, the gun goes off.
And when she shoots that thing in the air and she's flying, like, you remember that? Didn't she shoot a rocket to propel herself?
Yeah, she's coming down on everybody, shooting them as she's coming down. That's just
good. That was a cool
Michael
scene.
Biehn plays a great scene. Like, I love how the bitter rivalry between him and his brother. And he's trying to get his barbecue sauce. And he's like, I thought I told you, Texan takes his barbecue sauce recipe to the grave. And then, like, right when he's about to die, he's like, all right, get yourself a pencil and paper.
Horseradish.
It's such a great movie.
And then I got Anchorman when Luke Wilson gets his arm chopped off by Tim Robbins. And then later on when he's reporting, a bear rips his arm off.
This is getting goddamn ridiculous. I saw that movie in the theaters when I was in high school. I'd lost it when I saw it.
Oh, that was so funny.
My favorite part of that movie is whenever they're introducing everybody in Brick, is just standing there before Steve Carell was Steve Carell. This is back whenever he was on The Daily Show. which I guess people probably forgot about. But he's standing there, and the way he's introduced is he takes a big scoop of mayonnaise, puts it in the toaster, presses down. It's like, "Hi, I'm Brick." It's like, what the hell? That's just such a funny scene.
Yep. Hey, we're coming full circle because that's where we worked together on.
That's right, Anchorman 2.
Yep, that's right. Oh man, tears.
So my final movie with a severed limb is Caligula.
Caligula.
Yeah, he chops the guy's dick off and gives it to the dogs.
Yep.
Just like, that's the most gangster, disgusting thing. Remember, it's just like, wham.
That was Malcolm McDowell, Helen Mirren, right?
Helen Mirren, was she in that?
Was she in Caligula?
It's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
I'm finished.
I mean, that came out like, what, seven or 8 years after Clockwork Orange?
The good old 70s.
Yeah, it was something like 79, 80,
yeah.
I think, when Caligula came out.
That's when filmmaking was nuts.
Oh, yeah. Everything was fueled by cocaine, alcohol. I mean, quite literally. You can tell it in the filmmaking. Like, Adam Carolla talked about that on his podcast. He's like, if you watch these movies from the decade, you can kind of see what was like really heavily. Because like in the 60s, you can see movies kind of like spaced out after a while, somewhat in the 70s, because everybody was smoking weed. And then 70s alcohol was really big, so it was cocaine. So it's like things kind of went really bonkers halfway. And then in the 80s, it's like things just went absolutely nuts because it's like everybody was just doing everything.
More!
Look at Bloodsport.
Oh, goodness. So for me, I'm going to finish it up with the Black Knight from Monty Python because he loses all 4 limbs.
Oh, yeah.
And also, Commando has a great arm chop.
Commando has amazing everything. When I was growing up as a little boy in Austria, boys had to dress like boys and girls had to dress like girls.
He's dead tired.
It's like, oh my god. Hey, Benedict, let off some steam.
You know how I said I'd kill you last? I lied. I'm not even sounding like Arnold.
That was True Lies.
Oh, no, because he's holding the guy upside down in Commando.
He doesn't in True Lies.
You're fired.
In True Lies, he talks about how he's going to kill everybody after he gets injected with the truth
serum.
Yeah. He's like, oh, and how are you going to do that, sir? He's like, you know those handcuffs you put me in? Yes, I picked them. It's like,
you have a better accent. Yeah, so John Levingood has a better Captain Ron accent than I do, and you have a better
Captain Ron, man. I can't do a Captain Ron. He's like, hey, listen. Hey.
Levingood crushed it. Levingood channeled him first. He started floating.
That Captain Ron episode, I love that one. That's a great one.
That was fun. We dove into that movie.
Oh man, I love Captain Ron. I've been trying to show it to my girlfriend, but I couldn't find anywhere to stream.
Oh, hey, Squab.
Hey, Squab.
Yes, Squab. All right, so let's see. Now, you did tell something earlier in the podcast. You hadn't seen Iron Man?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal, is it?
I'll tell you what. When I dropped that little bit of knowledge to a few people that I talked to, they kind of gave me the clutching the pearls. Who do you think you are? Look, I was like, it's kind of funny to say, like, as someone who loves movies and has reviewed movies for as long as we have. I used to do it way back in the day for a local newspaper over a decade ago. I just saw Iron Man for the first time this week.
It's good. It's my favorite Marvel movie.
I thought it was really enjoyable. It made me I like the ending when he's just like, he's not going to tell everybody he's Iron Man. Is he going to say it? And he's just like, all right, everybody, I'm Iron Man. It's like, no, that's dope.
And he doesn't offer Jeff Bridges a cheeseburger.
Oh, yeah. Did you read about that? Yeah, that he wanted to put that in there because he credits Burger King for getting him off of drugs.
Really?
Because he was so drugged up. Like, I mean, as we all know, Robert Downey Jr.
You sleep in other people's houses.
He was terrible back in the... I mean, we used to make jokes whenever I was a kid that the movie Less Than Zero was actually a documentary about him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When you were kids, you were making like 6? Man, you know that movie Less Than Zero? That's Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, that movie is it's like, I think the movie was made in 87 or 86, and it's like, I don't think he was acting in that movie. But he was definitely a very drugged up individual. But he credits Burger King for getting him clean because he was so drugged up and drunk and high that he had I think it was like half a million dollars of drugs in his car, and he wanted to go get something to eat, so he went to Burger King, and he said the food was so disgusting that it made him rethink his way of life.
Wow.
So he took his car, drove it into the ocean, and then he was like, I'm going to start a new life.
That's why they're like, couldn't you just throw the drugs away?
Yeah, man. You couldn't.
Now we have to take this car out of the ocean.
I mean, it's not really that impressive. He was driving a Yugo. So, I'm just kidding.
I was driving a 18-wheeler.
Oh, God.
Took it off the Santa Monica Pier. Got arrested. I don't know why.
Yeah. I just thought that's pretty interesting that like you had food that was so disgusting while you were messed up that you were like, I really got to rethink my way of life. But that's how he felt.
I think people forget how much of a gamble Iron Man was. Favreau
originally was supposed to be Timothy Olyphant, which if you remember at the time, yeah. Because as you know,